Yeah. Thank you. Very senior professors here and we are all youngsters. In the morning I made some few statements. To substantiate it with certain information, I will try to deliver a talk. And then I will give these slides as a PDF to you, which will be available to you. So I will not read in any of the slides. I will only go into certain highlights of it. So then we can explain and then we can have questions. So I'll be there for half an hour and for 10 minutes. I want you to not focus on this. This is where we get back to southwest monsoon. Okay? But the variability is the question, 74%. Variability is there. And then if you see 750 mm above, you have maximum geographic area which is covered in certain place, and also the maximum precipitation of 350 million hectometers. But you also have to understand, people die because of droughts much more in India. This is for up to 2011 only, for maybe around 1900 to 2011. But then others are less. Okay? But this is never reflected anywhere. It's a slow poison. So this is where we have to contain. Okay? And then that's where the challenge is. And then we have a set of satellites, because we don't make satellites because we can make satellites. There's a requirement for satellites. That is what it comes from water resources. We have Ministry of Water Resources, there's a standing committee, and also Environment and Forests, we have standing committee. So they decide on what the type of satellites they need, and then all the satellites are fine-tuned to such a requirement. So these are the type of satellites which are there. So not from sun-synchronous orbit, that means in low Earth orbit, but also we have in geostationary orbit also. There are satellites. That means you can continuously image. These are mainly used for inputs for weather prediction. That is INSAT, 3D, 3DR. Always the 7 satellites are available, so you get the best of the signal. Normally on the GPS and all, they're all orbiting satellites, low Earth orbiting satellites. So at a time, all 7 or all 6 may not be available, but here it is assured. And then that's how by Gagan, what we did is we kept 2 of the GPS receivers on the geostationary satellite. That means for Indian framework, I have an augmented system where safety of life for aviation is used, but that can be used for other applications today. But these 2 also has a messaging part, because it's our own indigenous thing. Even in Gagan, you can use a messaging part. That's where we are working with postal department for paperless transaction, or the fishermen to give not only advices on disaster related cyclones or something, but also on where they can catch fish. Such information also is going to be there. And I want you to kindly look into, see, we put the satellites with 3-tier imaging. That's we are the first fellows to do in 1995 such kind of an imaging concept. So where we can cover the entire state in one shot, state of Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, or even the states like Maharashtra can be covered in one shot. And this is the other one which looks at a district, and this one at a group of villages which you can see. But all are imaged almost near simultaneous. Then we have another satellite which is looking at stereo imaging. That means the fixed cameras on 2 angles. They are fixed so that you can get to the principle of parallax, we can get it. But then now we are going to enhance the stereo. What was 2.5 meters, this will be around 1 meter or 1.25 meter, and also color you can get. But 2 angles will be there, so the swath we are increased. So at a district level itself you can make stereo images. That means your digital elevation models and all will be much better. But always don't get in the myth of these resolutions. That's where I wanted to show to all the youngsters sitting here. This is 56 meters, this is 23 meters. But whatever is there in 23 meters has been picked up by 56 meters, because radiometric resolution is now 11 bit. So when the radiometric resolution is better, whatever is detected is represented very effectively. So that means you can cover the large area, whatever selling state in one shot, district, and also a group of villages which I was mentioning to you. And then to contemplate that, I just try to show here. So this is 56 meters, and this is again 23 meters. So what are the water bodies here which is detected? Everything is in 56 meters. Only little blurred. That much only little blurred. So you have to do a little bit of image processing, but every object, including the small roads or anything, everything is detected in this. So you may ask me a question, why? But here you will get better in terms when you get for district planning, you need certain better information. You will get a better quality. Means it's not 23 meters, but you can process at 15 meters also. And this is certain filters which has been used to do that. And this is what the best resolution. So it is not only the steel springs, but also its shadow. Everything is picked up. That 104 satellites, whatever we launched. So in that, the first satellite, the primary satellite, is the Cartosat series. So this is in Romania, if I'm right. but also in Indian thing, you can see some of the images have been placed here and certain things will be shown you on Bhuvan. So every smallest details you can pick up. So it's not a question of what can be detected, but identification is a problem. And this is radar imaging. This is also indigenously done. No one wanted to share this technology with us. But whenever there is a cloud, you can penetrate the cloud also and get the information. This is the C-band which we are operating. What we are trying to look with NASA is on L and S band. So the larger the wavelength, more the penetration. But more it penetrates, it becomes difficult for us to understand like an optical image. So you have to be careful in putting through. So here we have different resolutions in putting through, and it has been well operated. And also we have polarization, multi-polarization also is available and multi-resolution because of different incidence angles. But the data basically will look like this. So we can get soil moisture out of the information. So we need to have and institute certain measurements done in a given locations. That's an important thing. And how the soil moisture has changed from August to November in a rain-fed agriculture is one of the slides. That means it is not like an optical image. And also we have a lot of sensors today called scatterometers, altimeters. They're not imaging satellites. There's an information gathering satellites which gives you information. And also the stereo image, it shows in a given time what is the amount of material extracted. This is a quarry site, it's not a mining. It's basically a quarry site per se. You can see in a particular time period how much of volume. So you know how much of trucks of material has gone. So how much of royalty paid. Everything you can get to a certain extent. This is how you can see for another period how much of volume has increased. And also you can know where is the material also placed. It's not that wherever, this is on the World Trade Center which has been constructed in Bangalore. So what is the height of the building? You can measure the heights and also the buildings which has come and the contours which can be made. I will show the other image where this is from. In the latest satellite we have a camera. So for a given location it will focus for 1 minute. That means the Earth is moving, satellite is moving, but it focuses on one given area. And what happens is you can see all the moving vehicles, all the building from, if it's a big building, you can see from this passage to the other passage. So with that change in P by H ratio, we can make these surface models, and there's a contours up to 2 meters, but you can also do 1 meter contouring also. All the building blocks, this has been done from that, and this is how you can place from the image. Then from here, and also I have an IUM at the end of the lecture, time permits, I will show you that, EVM what we call, and every building block of which I have shown you is extracted from here, the roads, everything like that. But this is done manually, and to certain things are digital. So also I mentioned to you in terms of the NAVIC constellation, why do we keep the 3 satellites in geostationary and 2 are in geosynchronous, so that I get the entire coverage, not only the Indian subcontinent, but also 1,500 kilometers. But today, Finland, everyone also tells us the signal is available for them. So that means it's beyond 1,500 kilometers also you're getting a good signal person. And this is the Gagan, where we have on 2 satellites, we have put the GPS system. And then on 2015 also we launched one more as a standby. So this is being used for all the aircraft for navigation, but Gagan dongles are used for survey. What you're doing with DGPS, you can do jolly well with Gagan dongle and you can get total station. It's equivalent to that in terms of the measurements. We did for a village with the total station along with Gagan. Same accuracies have come in terms of the survey. So it's like in a pocket you click it and then you can do it. And you can do it in differential mode much better. So one of the problems for you is technology is going very fast. How much we understand, how much you can take, but the requirements is a challenge for each one of you. For us, we are safe. Technology didn't go fast when we are young like you. So we had whatever we read, at least it is there with us for a long time. But for you, unfortunately, the technology is going very fast. So you have to keep on learning things much, much faster and make things possible. It's possible to do. And these kind of products are available today in terms of the dependable solar insulation products. On the Bhuvan website and on Monstock, you can see them. So you can know how much is the solar energy. Not only that, the 3D models which you can do. Many of the building 3D models have been kept as a sample, and there's an algorithm which is available, not just rooftop, but all the different facets of the building, which will give you a dependable solar energy. So it's not that on the top, but also on the others which you can do. And then this is today, every government institution is getting recorded. That means the NREGA works every day. I have 2.5 lakh assets getting integrated onto my Bhuvan. So 2 lakh people we train across the country. So they are registering all the works which is being done. Who is the person? What is his unique ID? What work he is supposed to do? And what is it being done? And but in the next financial year, where to do the work? Previously it was not there, it's where to do the work. Now where to do the work, why you are doing all this question, and then what are the results expected out of it will be assessed. But there is no data analytics with the government. This data analytics is a big game, and it's a great opportunity for each one of you to come at as an incubation center. You give your new ideas, you come to us, and then you can sit, we'll give you all the facilities, and you can process the data and make your own business for yourself and things like that. You can see here, every house is getting tagged where it is supposed to be constructed, at what stages. Now the money is being released depending upon the stage of construction on this. Because this information cannot be tampered. Because the location, the time and the content, all the things are fixed once you take with this kind of application. So that's how it happens. This is for housing, Narega, including Ganga thing also is getting done, sir, and we given the apps, crop insurance. Every segment of it now we have applications which has been soil health card. There are so many things. My colleague is there. If some of you, I request you, Dr. Sastry will explain to you on what is the information which is available. Here I just wanted you to understand, because you're all talking about water, and also we have a professor who is specialized in groundwater. What comes space imaging and what not doesn't come from other sources is fractal lineaments. These are very, very important. And water is not moving in this particular direction where the slope is, but also is going almost diagonally also. Because there is a fracture which is pulling on the other side. So there are, if you put wells here, there is a fracture zone which will put. This is found all in the crystalline rocks. What we have in like Hyderabad, other places, even the chondrites which you have here, you also find similar patterns which is there. This is very important to know. But there are dikes also which restrict the flow of water. So one side you may get a water, other side you may not get. So that means if you are putting a solid waste disposal ground somewhere here, you are going to pollute the entire structure, whatever is there, the water source which is going in. So you have to be very cautious in understanding its depth and depth. So we have one, Mr. Suri Naidu also, who is a geophysicist, couple of geophysicists also here. I'm happy that they will understand how the seepage losses. Or another thing is, if it is shallow, you can do a clay grouting and entire water will go up. This is what you can do on islands. If you want to put on an island like Andaman Nicobar Island, you want to bring water sources. If you know the depth and depth by doing a geophysical survey, so you know where it is going to open up, and then you can make a clay grouting to ensure that the throttle doesn't go into the other downstream. It can go up on the ocean, so you can get drinking water sources. This is there on the dolphin's nose. We did for the colony, a similar type of a survey. Dolphin's nose, you have a big colony there, a different colony. I hope some of you are aware if you have seen that. But this is all done with this technology. So this is done 30 years back, not today. That the 30 years back also we are able to do with very coarse resolution information. But today you have the best of the resolution. It is not the question of the problem, is not resolution. It will be very clear on the purpose for what we are trying to do and how easily we can do. But if you go closer, this gets diffused. This is the fracture zone got diffused. So go more closer, many things you cannot get into the domain. So you have to be a little reconnaissance in terms of when you talk about earth sciences and all, you have to see from a distance, then go closer for the problem. And this kind of information is available every 15th day. Now we're trying to make every 5th day the water resource information. For the last 12 years, sir, it is available on the website. So you know which are the perennial sources, which are perennial tanks. Based on that, we built the inland fisheries type of a system for entire country. This is what is the simulation which has shown. And this is the water bodies. This is the smallest water. We kept but less than 2 hectares. Greater than 2 hectares. Now we are working out smaller than 2 hectares. If some of the academic institutions want to do that kind of a processing, we'll be more than happy to share the data under an agreement. And this is where we have the information on the land use. We have almost 12 cycles we did today. And then we have that means Kharif, Rabi, net zone area, and what is summer fallows. Everything is available on the website. So when the government wanted to have second green revolution, it's only a small process of 15 minutes. But is it being implemented? We will process and see. That is where there is the greatest opportunity, because these schemes are with a lot of money, as I told you. 10 to 12,000 rupees, 12 to 15,000 rupees per hectare is a big money. Don't look at federal government money. What goes to the state in terms of implementation, if you are really confident and you are able to pitch in there, and you are a big people. And that's where I was asking the head of the departments, don't go for federal government projects, but get into these projects. Initially it is a little murky, but once you show the results, it is a big money. And I'm not telling from theory, from as being a director, but I involved myself, I got money from the states and then implemented that. So I'm not talking about theory, it's practical. Being in Government of India with the President of India's stamp where we sign a check, it is possible to take, without money also you can do projects, provided you know the money is going to get in time. And this is where today the thing is, yeah. Now, there's a lot of data available. Analysis is the crux of the problem. Previously, we used to search for data, but in the morning, Professor Ashok also was asking me about the data related, archives. But then, today there's a better mechanism of getting the data, unlike what we used to do in good old days. Every government entity is asked to publish the data. Unless there is the highest secrecy, they are supposed to publish the data on the website. And that too more on spatial mode. And after this government has come, the Prime Minister himself has taken the initiative to put all the data in the public source and make more and institutions to work on the analysis type of a thing. So every ministry has to do that. They didn't do, now also they have to do it. While doing it, is informed decisions. The civil society, grassroots, this is engaging because that's where amendments of 73rd and 74th amendments of the Constitution will come a reality. So while doing it, let us go into our infrastructure projects today. All infrastructure projects today are getting monitored for 2 phases which we did, AIBP. Now we have put on BOVAN. Now what CWC does, online they monitor by themselves. We don't have to do any technical activity. Which are the gaps, whether it has been completed, everything they have to do by themselves on the terms of the potential created and utilization. And similarly, in watershed development, for all these activities, today it is available on the website, people are doing it. This already I mentioned, this data groundwater is already available. These are already geomorphology, land degradation, the process of land getting degraded. Morning, I think Director was mentioning, your principal sir was mentioning 4 inches of soil. How it is getting eroded, top sheet erosion. Every data is available and second cycle we are already doing it. That means you will see the change. This satellite image related, even the field photographs which has been taken in the field also are also put on the website. And then the forestry data and the snow and glaciers, 2 slides I will show on that in terms of the water resources. Heat wave predictions. I request all of you for the last 2 years, this is the 3rd year we are going to keep, and I find many of the students are dying in this region, in the coastal region. Kindly give this awareness campaign in a big way so that the young people are not dying. Because what are the precautions they are supposed to take? Tying the ears, taking certain normal water or buttermilk, something which is locally drank, but not the aerated drinks which we are not used to. That's where I understand. It's really pity to see youngsters getting down. And then of course there's other products called space-based weather parameters, and essential time I will just explain to you in another slide put through. And these are all the products are available under ECVs, under NICES project. They're also available on BOVAN. A single platform on which you can get. And decentralized planning, this meant of the taluka level how you can do the planning process. And urban. Today the urban plans are not supposed to be in isolation in their rooms. The satellite data, the last plan whatever they have, how to put on top of it and do planning online. And it should be available for the public online. And decisions or discussion, that's where the environmental planning will be better, much better, because nowhere the physical planning has never gone. Yeah. Plans are going to be by the local bodies which are going to do, will be on public domain, and public has to give their concurrence. It is not just public, anywhere in the world people can look at and tell, is it going to be a viable plan for the next few years, 10 years, what is the plan which they do. And this is on the monitoring of the glaciers. So you can see it's not that all glaciers are retreating. There are certain set of glaciers which retreated, but there are certain satellites, some of the things have advanced too, and there are certain things there is not much change. So this continuously, this information is being made and also being published. And the snow melt runoff is also being done, and also modeling in terms of what will be the reach, because there are certain hydropower stations basically depending upon the glacial melt which consumes this information, and which is done from even inside PDR, AVIPS type of projects which get through. And then we have this long-term data analysis, that means climate qualified data sets. See, whatever when we talk about climate change, you need to qualify them for climate change. So we qualify some of those data sets and put on website of BOVAN, and then there are around 51 of them are there, and ECVs, out of that 26 are amicable with space imaging and also certain field validation. So such we are trying to make and then putting through, but this is all done with the collaboration with the academic institutions. Next please. Okay, working, and this information also is available in terms of cyclone tracking landfall prediction, which is there from MOSDAC as well as from IMD, which is the mandated agency, and flood hazard donation. See, this is where the states come into the picture. That means we give the flood measurement maps, but somewhere the state has to endorse. That's what morning Ashok Kosa was mentioning. It's It's not with the federal government. The water is with the state government which has to give the information, or they have to validate and tell these are the flood hazard donations, which is important for any insurance component which you have to make, or the development where you should not build construction sector for that. So what are the frequently flooded areas? Entire thing has been done, and they announce this is the flood hazard donation maps which we prepare has been validated by the states. That means we have to work with the state governments. We cannot do in isolation in terms of our research and putting it. And this drought monitoring. Now the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh has got certain water guns. So he exactly wants to know what the status of the soil moisture at which he can operate, so that will make an assured thing for the agricultural practices. So all the people are working, the AWS in the state, AWS with the federal government which has, and all other instrumentation, that means IoT, along with the space images which looks at the weather forecasting, all put together we are trying to give certain models, what is the soil moisture, and every information goes on a dashboard on his dashboard. So at that level, there are people who are trying to look in, and of course the forest fire alerts, but then we are looking for forest fire modeling. If there is a fire at a particular location, how it will move. It is possible to do a couple of areas which we did. And here, this is where you can do modeling, telling that where the mineral rich, this is where you get the diamonds. But then there's out of 10,000 square kilometers, we found out some 1,000 square kilometers which is good, all this red is good. But this all the information gets in, but do we have modeling and then suggest, so this is one place, there's a diamond bearing, but when you go to the field, you don't see any. So this is where the help of this technology helps you, not just see what you see on the surface, but also the subsurface in which you can place it. And this is the distribution system. Why I kept this specifically is, because I do know there are a lot of youngsters going to be here. This is looking at a fertilizer demand. Prime Minister has given an opportunity for soil health cards. Soil health cards is for the farmers, but that doesn't give a business for an entrepreneur. For entrepreneur, the business comes with, this information will be useful for the fertilizer companies to make demand-based, means in terms of micronutrient blends, fertilizer blends. That means for a given crop, like for paddy, for sugarcane, for pomegranate, for everything there is a different blend. That means it's like vitamins for me and for someone else will not be the same. So exactly you are trying to determine. But after a certain time you don't have to use much. So that also can be assessed. But the residues in the leaf can be detected from hyperspectral. That's where we are getting into hyperspectral remote sensing, which will look in very minute details about the wind station, crop, their diseases, everything we can pick up in a big way. So this fertilizer we did for, there's a big job opportunities. This similar thing is done for Amazon, Flipkart, all users. If you are an engineer and you know little GS and Python programming, you are a good big salary. Okay, it's a big salary than the IT guys. So there are different things which you should look in. Is it the science what you have to look in? Or you want to study a process? Or you want to do something else? So it all opportunities are there. Similar thing you can do for the distribution system of the water when we talk about demand-based irrigation scheduling, which is put through. But also please understand, in nature, there are a lot of insects which are much superior to us. Just see this locust fellow. He just puts 5 centimeters in the tail, he gets all this information, texture, temperature, hardness, moisture, salinity, and then vegetation. This of course he sees what is the presence of bushy areas. A small insect called locust can detect all that. We are trying to emulate with certain conditions. That means we know we can measure certain things and then keep, but also we are tracking the soil moisture through the space imaging, that is a FreeSat, and then we put an early warning system for locust. Because the locust is a very dangerous insect. When it moves as a swarm, any green becomes an ash. Today you are not getting it. If you go and see your old folk songs, there are a lot of songs on this particular insect called Murthy, locally. Okay? Now it comes like a dandu. Dandu means swarm. Okay, that's how when it comes. But today it comes still in northeast, northwest of the country. But it starts in Saharan desert, touches this and goes to the Central Asian countries. So Kazakhstan, we implemented this totally. It draws the data from Russian weather forecasting center, and then entire thing will be done. Such projects also can be done. And these on any simulation models like what you don't see too. That means a plume which is moving, and online nuclear emergency response, the radiation leak comes, how it moves. So the information comes from different weather stations, and then you can process and then look at what the type of uses which will come in on the mobile, which you can do, the web-based information. So we are doing it for the next few places. That means data what you measure, you model it, and put it on a display system, but you're showing for the next 48 hours where you should run. What are the safe places? If you are affected, what type of thyroid dose or something you have to take. All this information is put on web. So it's a web GS that to did by students like some of course not from your batch, but also computer sciences people have done this programming for us. So these are the new initiatives which has come from the Prime Minister's initiative. So there are some 170 projects, new things have come, but related to energy, natural resource management, and also e-governance and spatial. And these are the planning, monitoring, or decision making and citizen centric. So these are the things which is happening today. There has been a lot of initiatives in use of technology. And these are specifically water related in terms of irrigated area, water bodies for blue revolution, soil health card, rain-fed area, which we have to put in, and then the rice fallows which we are trying to take it. Swachh Bharat, solid waste disposal is another one. We have announced many approved cities. We need solid waste disposal sites to be made. There are consultants, but consultants doesn't have really skilled people to do suddenly across the country. But the data is available. So you have to look in what is the needs of the place, how do you do, and you cannot tell in a democratic society, only do this here. Because even we don't agree when your parents tell do this, means you will ask why. Right? So you have to give some alternative solutions. It's not one, second, third, but third solution may have more maintenance costs which you have to put through. And then the G-governance is putting the panchayats, connected to the gram panchayats and also decision support center for electronic workflow. This is where you have this is for the fisheries. Today it's a system. We have the OceanSat satellite which has been launched, but sea surface temperature comes from some other place and then some other satellites. And also the scatterometer we have in terms of the wind vectors, how it will move. So the fish schools are identified based on what the distribution of chlorophyll in the ocean. There is the diatoms and phytoplankton. Based on that, we detect the first level of fishes, and there's the next level of fishes which will get in. That is the tuna type of fishes which you can get to. But this is all done by inquiries, which we have transferred. We have the next series of satellites which is coming. But then this is giving something like 34,000 crores contribution to the GDP annually. So that means it's in savings. Savings of the fuel, because the fishermen exactly go to the location and then do. Like I was telling about the diamonds, to explorative bore wells to drill, it's very expensive. So we exactly tell where to drill the explorative bore well, so it becomes very economical. Or else if you drill at many places, then it becomes very expensive. The geophysicists will try to understand that. And of course the success rate in which put through. This anyway I have mentioned, but this has given originated to inland fisheries. So even taking certain greater than a 0.1 hectare, what would be analyzed, so we could see there's a tremendous potential of more than 2,000 tons if it becomes an organized segment in one district of Assam. So there are many districts like this. So there is a third livelihood option available for people, but many of the tanks has to be restored. These are totally silted. So desilting has to be done. Now many of the states like Telangana and all, today I see in the newspaper, a lot of desiltation activity, where to put desilting material. Everything is decided much earlier itself. Previously we used to do in the last minute such desiltation activities. And now the cyclone, this thing, because this is also annual benefit of 50,000 crores, but this is done by independent agencies, not by done by us. And then the severe, that's where the INSAT 3D and 3DR, scatterometer and altimeter, these are all the important instruments what we placed in the space, including Megatropics is another satellite with the French collaboration which we put. All are giving very critical inputs what is needed for weather prediction. So that becomes more and more very specific for predicting the weather details and also the cyclone landfall and also the cyclogenesis. But then this is a very big project given by the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Yojana. So there are many stages. So any project you should understand what are the different levels in which it does. So you have to go to the grassroots of the problem. Like how the fisheries means, if I had to put a satellite for identifying fisheries, so we should know where is the scattering properties. Why I don't see fish when I go to the sea. Even if the phytoplankton also I cannot see on this sea. So there is something else hindering me for seeing it. So if you want to operate somewhere around 800 kilometers, you have to understand a little bit physics of it and make certain filters in which you subtract all that but still give the signal which is very, very weak, but still it is related to a certain particular item. So here also we got all the insurance companies. There are 2 government and then undertakings, and then 6 of them are private totally, like Reliance and other people. We try to understand what are the problems for them, why they are not able to settle them fast. You have to settle the things faster, clearly. Or in between also there are so many steps, rate making itself. For every district or a few of the villages, it's a uniform rate, need not be. The premium can be cut down depending upon the groundwater sources, and also on the land use, land cover, customer, whatever is being done. This is where great opportunity is there for each one of you in terms of analysis, data analysis. This data we are ready to, but you should come out with new idea than what I tell. The idea, that is where you will become an incubation center for you to process on all the crop cutting equipments also we can optimize. By optimizing this, the cost comes down, premium will come down, and then how well we can pay for such utilities. And this is where we have a Bhuvan Panchayat. So we have to start as per the 73rd Amendment, planning from village. And I am happy that this institute also is joining us in that activity planning. So there are 285 assets. So you have to go and tag those assets, find out the gaps, and help the Panchayat with the information what is there on the board to make a proposal. How to make a proposal also, all the project sheets also have been provided. Only they have to fill and given the local language, submit to their taluka, the village, taluka and the district. Once approved, where you are doing the job as per the plan is being done or not, again the monitoring part takes place. Once this chain acts, it's difficult to act, but it's slowly happening now in some of the states like Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, already started people working on. So we want this to happen better in terms of, but then wherewith all the information is available on Bhuvan for which you to do and access many sources for putting through, including visualizing through natural color components. But variable use of fertilizer, water, this is the greatest challenge because we cannot do precision farming like what Westerners does because there's a lot of homogeneity there. And this is where the greatest opportunity given to us. God has given us a lot of heterogeneity and He has given you all the terrains as per the subject, water. The professors can agree with me. All relief length ratios has been given to us in terms of Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, East Coast, West Coast, islands on the western side, eastern side, central India, rain shadow region, rain-fed agriculture, deserts, cold deserts, sandy deserts, northwestern hills. What you want, everything He has given to you. Model everything in this heterogeneity and diversity, go anywhere in the world and be successful. Because there it is, implementing is very simple. Here is the most toughest job. Even the smallest area you are able to prove your mettle and then you are the best and you are wanted everywhere. Because today you don't apply for jobs. So similarly, here even the fertilizer irrigation, this is the demand-based irrigation, already people are working in India. There are professors who have invested places in like in Berhampur, in certain places, very rural areas, they are working on demand-based irrigation schedule of IoTs. What I am doing for them, I am giving them a communication link to the S-band what we launched on GSAT-6. So, because they need to communicate also the sensor information, which is little expensive for them, which we can put through. But this should be the reality, because if you have to optimize the use in terms of demand-based irrigation scheduling, exactly demand on that particular thing. Because the satellites are going to give everyday information about the vegetation. I am going to show you the next slide for that. So we can model, do certain crop simulation, so crop intensification can be done, and also the change in the different crops, and nation support for package of practices. But then you will get into conflicts. Any water related or environment related, you try to attempt something, you will get into problems. Because this is somewhere pinching the purses of the politicians. So that's what Professor Ashok Kosa was also very. So here what we did is, there's a 5 times elected MP from that area. So he's a very extremely powerful guy. So that corridor has been made when Madam Gandhi is there. So that time there's a lot of private lands which has come in to the forest area, the corridor for this Great Indian Bustard. Name itself tells Great Indian Bustard. So they're somehow tagging that, kill this bird. If there's no bird, then there's no sanctuary. But we had to do it two-pronged approach for that. To tell, do an analysis, tell if the bird nests or finds, because the corridor I made, you get incentive. That means if someone sees that in their thing, you get an incentive. So we gave the determine the corridor, including the survey number. Second is, bring the MP and show what are your deeds, last 5 years or 10 years, what reflected on my images I show him. I don't tell anything to him. But we had to lobby, go to the Chief Minister, tell him, etc. So that's why what I'm telling is, if you think you are a great scientist, you are nothing. You have to link yourself with the system, what is there. You have to live in a system. If in the house, if you don't respect what is the rules of the house, you cannot survive in the house. You have to get out, right? Similarly here also, when you have to survive and do business, you have to get in. So, as an ISRO scientist, I can do anything. But then, if I have to really be successful for the purpose, what I am asked for, you have to understand the system, get into the problems, get in deep with it, and how somehow solve the issues related to this. So these are, and then you can also go to the Supreme Court, and you have to face the CEC. But if your standards of your database are very clear, you will be successful. No one can touch you. So no one CAG nor audit nor anyone can touch you, even the law cannot touch you with your documentation. This is what I already explained. So all this Amrut and also the smart cities are going to be done with geospatial technologies. This is where the urban hydrology is a very, very tough subject. The amount of area which has been from the source of the runoff which will come, the non-point sources, has become huge. So that's where I was surprised myself in Bangalore to see all the roads suddenly have become streams, like ephemeral streams. And water within no time is flooding the main road and everything finished within 10 minutes in prime Coromandel area. So that is what the problem we made for ourselves. We don't want to leave any corridors for infiltration, but we want water supply in your field. So you have to really look in. The data is available to you. Taking the design, because 1:2000 scale and 1:1000 scale is the data what you can make from the recent satellites what we launched. No other better scale you can get than that. And it is our own product. I request you all now, try to look in and advise people. See, what you have to do is you have to go to people and speak. People think you may be bad, but you show certain models. If you do this, what are the benefits you will get in the first year? What you will get in second year? What you will get in third year? If it doesn't happen, what is going to lose? These are the type of models which are available for you to simulate and go to the people and advise them. And this all the data is available on these websites. And this is software, again, indigenous software, which has been done by our own Make in India product. And also these are done by some of your students from this institute also. And then the trivium, with your mobile you can take photographs and make a 3D. All the collinearity equations have been solved. That's also done by university students itself. You can get it from IRS website. And you can get, other day when I was explaining to the CM, so one of the secretary told, sir, I'm using trivium for making my 3D blocks for the buildings, etc. So many free things are available. I request you to participate in a big way to make bigger things what is needed for the public person. But the future, that is not future means 2017 end or 2018. There is going to be a satellite from geostationary called GISAT, which is going to give hyperspectral, multispectral, like every day 4 times I can get the data. So processing this data is different because the sun elevation angle is different. So the radiance values, what we thought about in sun synchronous satellite is going to be different because we receive the data at 10:30, 10:20 or 10 o'clock in the morning. So its sun elevation angle is fixed. But here it is changing. Every day I am getting at 4 different angles. So the type of radiance values, there's a lot of research to be done. And this is also in ocean. So for ocean fisheries also it can be used. So it is not just from multispectral, multispatial, multitemporal, but also we can get this in inclination angle. That means for only India I want to get rapidity coverage on the inclination angle we are launching satellites. That is continuously going to see in radar imaging as microwave and also in optical. And this is all going to happen in the next 3 years. Flood of data is going to come to you. So how are you prepared to process? But the purpose should be very clear. Without purpose, only I process some data, you will get some colorful things, so we can publish. Because you are the first source, you publish, you get the peer-reviewed journal. But that's not a subject. A subject is, the last slide will tell, last but one slide for you. Why we have to do it is because the luxury is what we are having today. But we are looking at this food and water security, these are all important things which we are putting through. And so where is what, why, and so what. That is the model. And then all the applications has to churn and where we can make it. And that's possible to do. So our vision document, which we made for 2030, up to 2030, and then within the next 3 years, 7 years, what we submitted to NITI Aayog, the new system which is there. In all this socio-economic security is all the other things which are there, food, and then also in sustainable development. So this is where we want only exclusively academic institutions to do that, auditing. If there is an urban plan, it's supposed to be a sustainable plan, urban management plan, forest management plan. Now we want all the academic institutions which will be providing the data, everything, and then you have to do with an MOU. And then give your independent views on really it is sustainable or not, because plan versus implementation, what has happened, where things gone wrong. And then the governance anyway I have mentioned, disaster risk reduction. The preparedness is what we have to do more. We are doing on early warning and response and recovery, but this is where we have to focus more on that. The other slides I am not going to tell you. I want you to go into the PDF and see when we talk about food, what does it mean, what I give from space. Water means availability, improved productivity, distribution. I want you also to read and ask some questions or you interact. What are the areas you would like to work? This is for your thinking process which I kept, and I'm not going to read into all this security part or the sustainable development part. Okay? Is it okay? Yeah. and then the governance, and then this is the governance projects which are on the table, but which you can take it in a bigger way. But from our side, we are going to give you all the next level, AutoSat-3, OceanSat-3, GISat. Up to 2030, we are assuring you of all the satellite data much enhanced. That's from India. These satellites are all global satellites. They don't see India, but they see the world. You learn something here, experiment something here, prove your point here, you can do it anywhere in the world. Ocean, fisheries. Go and do it in Pacific Islands, do it in South America, do it in North America itself. The fishing, you can do that business there. There's no one can stop us. As in the morning, Ashok Kosa has really motivated you. You have to think big. And this is the age for you to think big. It's not after, when we want to think big, we cannot think much big. Okay? So this is your domain, and this is what I was trying to tell you, the resources which is available to you, and imaging capability will keep on increasing, and a lot of non-imaging things will keep coming, which will ensure a better future for all of us. But local wisdom, if you ask me how the water is moving, these are the field buds which are there, and these are at a scale of 1:5,000 or so. Soap is 1 to 3%. So less than 1% here, this one is part, 1 to 3%, this other one is 3 to 5 and 5 to 8. See how the field buds they have made. They ensure the water should move, moisture should move, not water, moisture should move. This is where the inclination angle, where the sun inclination angle forms. The local wisdom is very strong. It has evolved with time, it's sustained, that's where we are comfortably sitting in this room today. If you don't understand the local wisdom, how did it survive, and just try to do only your model information and try to implement in the ground, nothing will happen because it's not evolved. It's only instantaneous which you did. So you have to get in the system and evolve. And if you do it, now the watershed program as the natural color shows, if someone does it disciplined, the moisture retention is there. They don't do it, it's totally aerated and the siltations are happening faster. So we know the source of the problem and how to solve the problem for this comes very clearly when you want to go and discuss this. All this data I downloaded for Boomer. Nowhere else. I'm not doing anything from my sources. And similarly, all this water logging happens because of the failure channel. We build a road and a canal system and we didn't leave any drainage systems for that. So how do we worry about it? Or whether the span of the bridges are the right. So that's where I was telling the flood vulnerability index is available. I wanted to see. But while doing all this, please understand, there is enough for everyone. I fully agree with this. Many a time this question is asked to me, having an opportunity in ISRO to extensively in this country and other parts of the world. But then we should know enough, and then what is the step which you're doing will help these people, because we have 25% of the population still doesn't get 3 meals a day. They go with hunger to the bed. If that becomes your goal, I have to do something which will directly impact them. All your problems are solved, 100% solved, let me tell you. As long as you think only it has to fill you or fill your requirements, then all problems are visible in front of us. So kindly keep your goal as something which is very big, which is not imaginative, then everything will fall in place. So the Murphy's law keeps working till the last minute, everything will be fine. Thank you. Whichever the source is, either we or anywhere in the globe, there's a set of satellites which we are trying to give the supply of the data. But kindly look into, when someone tries to fool us with 50 centimeters, he's not giving 50 centimeters. That you should analyze because you are a technical guy. Okay, not the World Bank. 20, yeah.
So the contaminants in surface or maybe in the shallow ground sources. In that case, if we have inferred some database related to water quality, that can help.
In terms of the pixels today, it's possible from OCM only. That's about 360 centimeters, 360 meters is the resolution. But in Ganga, we get quite a few pixels. Now it is matching with some of the, because the river is wide enough. But GISat is going to help us for imaging. So many of the quality related, water quality related in terms of river system can be picked up very well in that.
Not only soil.
No, soil quality.
Soil water quality.
No, I didn't get it.
Salinity.
Okay. See, the water logging, soil salinity is mapped for entire country. It's available on public web. Okay, and it is also there. It's in India Waters website, also in Bowen website also is available. Of course.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, though this seminar is on water and environmental, so I had to answer the question why I kept all these slides is everything is related to water. Without water, nothing can be done. Even the fertilizer dosage we need is with no other guy. So can you do that? That's only my sincere request for all the youngsters who are all here. And that is your future from this camp. Thank you.